Hi everybody, it's Susan from Sunrise Quilt Studio. Today I'm going to do a different project. What I'm wanting to do is to use up the rest of my fabric from the Love Note line, and let me show you what I have left. This is what I have left, and quite frankly I'm getting tired of sewing with it, but I still want to use it up. So what I decided to do is to make some blocks that I don't have to worry so much about the direction of the print. And that's one thing that is a constant with this fabric, is almost all of them are directional, if not all. Well, most of them are, because this one here is not. But when I'm doing 12-inch blocks, 8-inch blocks, or whatever, doing a piece block, I have to watch the direction of the fabric. And I've made several piece blocks. I've made 3 quilts with this, and I started on number 4 and decided to do a sampler quilt. And I'm going to show you the blocks that I have done, which if you've been watching my videos, then you've seen these, but I've got quite a few. I hope this backlighting isn't too bad. I'm in front of my window here. I'm standing up because I'm cutting up fabric. So here's another. And with each one of these, I had to watch the direction of the print in each one of these. Some are more obvious than others, like the stripes are pretty obvious. Now this block is the same as the one I just showed you. I think I made this one first to try it out, to make sure it worked, because this one was a little more complicated. So then I made another one for the video, which I used to do that all the time. I used to make my sample and then would do one for the video. I don't usually do that anymore. I usually just jump right in and just make a block and videotape it as I'm going. But this one is called Homegrown. I'll put the names of the blocks underneath, since I forgot to tell you. And this one is actually corn and beans. Now I haven't done a video on this one. This was a test block once again, and I really like this block, but the directional fabric drove me nuts on this one. So this is one when I will do a video on this block, but I will do one with fabric that I don't have to worry about the direction so much. So that's corn and beans. And here's another one that I just did. Another one I wanted to do a test block on. So we got, back up a little bit, pinwheels and 9 patches and single squares. And this one is called the White House block, this one here. And this one I didn't have to worry too much about the directions, just the green stripe again is all I really concerned myself with. But it did not go together as easily as I thought. So I was doing strip piecing of the 9 patches. It didn't quite work out the way I planned, so I'm going to, when I do a video on this one, I'll just use a different method, a simpler method for that. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 blocks. 2 of them are the same. So I'm just going to hang on to these. I'll do something with it. It's kind of a strange number. I don't know if I'll do a table runner, if I'll do some pillows. I might do some pillows. I don't know yet. Anyway, I want to use up this fabric, and I don't want to have to worry about fabric direction anymore. So what I decided to do was to make some bow tie blocks. I have a video on making bow tie blocks where you don't have to do an inset seam. So that's what I'm doing. And I don't really have to pay a whole lot of attention to the direction of the fabric on that. It'll be simpler. And I'm also going to do some house blocks. I was playing around on EQ8 this morning and came up with a very simple house block. And it's so simple that I'm sure there's a pattern for it out there somewhere. I didn't look for it. I just started drawing on EQ8 and came up with something. So I'll go ahead and post that pattern for you too. So right now I'm just going to cut up some fabric and get started, and I'll sew some of these bow tie blocks, and then I will probably next video I'll work on some house blocks. Okay, for my bow tie block pattern, what I need are 3.5 inch squares from the print and 2-inch squares, and then the background is 3.5 inch squares. I need 2 of each of those. So background 2 3.5 inch squares. For the print you need 2 3.5 inch squares, and then 2 2-inch squares. So I've got some here. I went ahead and pre-cut a bunch of the 3.5 inch backgrounds, and I'm just going to cut up the scrap here with my 3.5 because I previously cut 2-inch squares out of a piece that was about this size, and so I've got my 2.5. Now I need to do my 3.5, and what I'm using right here, this is it's a new ruler for me. It's a Creative Grids 4.5 inch ruler. What you see me using most of the time is this Omni Grip 5-inch ruler. So these I like because they're a good size for my hand. I bought this one because I've been making a lot of quarter square triangles, and I always oversize them and then square them up, and I thought this would be a little bit easier if I had a ruler that was the size that I want to square things up at. So I needed a 4.5 inch ruler. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and work on these blocks. Now I finished one, so I can show that to you. If you can see up close that this is just a easy corner triangle on the white. So I'm going to go ahead and do another one. Now this is a directional fabric again. I'm going to go ahead and lay my pieces out. Let me adjust the camera so you can see that. Okay, now I have a full tutorial on how to do this block, how to sew it. So I'm just going to kind of give you some highlights here. I'm going to put my background pieces opposite each other, opposite corners, that's what I'm trying to say. And then here are my prints, and I'm going to set those so that the print is facing up. Now these corners, if I want them to face up, I've got to consider that I'm going to be cutting this corner off. So what is going to remain, whatever I sew here is going to sew from here to here, and I'm going to flip it over, and this is what's going to show. So I need to fold it so that it's upright, just like that. So I'm going to flip that one that way, and this one can go that way. Now I'm ready to sew these, so I'm just going to sew corner to corner. I don't have these marked, but you certainly can do that, or you can use centering tape. Like a lot of times I'll put glow line tape that you can buy at Joann's. I saw that today when I went by there to buy fabric, and I'm trying to get untangled from my foot pedal here. The wire on my foot pedal was in the way. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and do the other one. Now the trick is going to be putting them back in the right position. Okay, let me try. Trim all this. And then trim off the corners. And let me press this and I'll show you what these look like. So here's what those look like. Just a little corner. And then I just sew the print pieces to these, and then I'll have 2 rows, and then I sew the 2 rows together. And that's all there is to this pattern. Just slow down a little bit so my machine won't bounce the table. Where's this one? How this works. Okay. Okay, I'm going to press one more time. I'm going to sew these 2 rows together. And there's my bow tie block. So I'm just going to keep working and get the rest done and see how that goes, and then I'm going to move on to the house block. So that will be in the next video. There's really nothing tricky about this block. It's just a shortcut to the traditional bow tie block, because traditionally there would be a square here instead of 2 corner triangles. And I've been looking at this thinking, like, if you want the center of your bow tie a different color, there is something you can do by putting easy corner triangles on these also, and using a separate print in those 4 little triangles as opposed to here. So you could do that. So that would just be a different version. So there's a couple different ways that you can use bow tie blocks, different layouts you can use, and I'll see if I can find some photos of some of the bow tie blocks that I have, bow tie quilts that I have. I have 2 or 3 that are vintage. I think maybe 3, and I'll show you those, and they're different layouts. And but I've never made a bow tie quilt of my own from scratch, so this is a good way to do it. So I'm going to go ahead and work on this for a while, and then probably take a break, and then I'll probably have to make dinner. So Anyway, I hope you have a good day, and that's it for this video. So I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please click that like button. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and click that notification bell so you'll be notified when the next video comes up. And in the meantime, I hope you're all staying safe and healthy, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. For more quilting ideas, click on the video links, and to keep up with my latest projects, click on the subscribe button. I hope to see you again soon.